Yo,
What's
big
happening?
dog, what's happening?
Man, talk to me.
Hey man, been a minute. Been a
Yeah,
minute.
man, life.
Hey, life been life, and this episode 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's episode 3. It's been a while. We got some housekeeping kind of get out the way. So that have tuned in before, our brother is no longer with us, but it's a good thing. Our prosperous things going on with that brother. So we wish him, he's still a part of us. We still rocking. So Dub, if you're watching, bro, we miss you. Keep pushing. But we back, man.
life has been doing its thing. Uh, it's constantly busy. It's constantly evolving and adjusting that I have to do. Got the family life going on, stuff for my son. I have my new career, and I'm about to start paramedic school, which is about to be, a pretty tough year. So I'm trying to mentally
Yep.
prepare for that. Doing some early studying just to, get
Talk
ahead
about
of the
your new
curve.
career. Talk about your new career, bro. Talk about your new career, man. I'm proud of you, brother.
I
Amazing.
appreciate it.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. So it's just been a period of adjusting to a new career, getting all the skills down, knowing how everything works, getting to know new people. Spending 24 hours with a bunch of new people isn't easy for some people, but that takes a little bit of effort. People reading and knowing how to work well with each other so that you can be as productive as possible. And for me is overall is being confident in my job and my abilities, and knowing exactly what I'm doing, learning more, and still upholding the probationary responsibilities as a new firefighter and coming into a new field. So everything all together,
And that's dope.
it takes. Huh?
I say that's dope. I'm
I
proud of you.
appreciate it. But yeah, everything coming together, it takes a lot of compartmentalization, being able to prioritize and understand what you have time for and making time for other things. And it's another part of life. But I'm here. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, and I think I'd be remiss if I ain't ask how nephew was doing. How's Major doing, bro?
Man, he's doing amazing. I feel like this year will be the year that we get conversation out of him because it's just everything that's leading up to it is just like more and more progression that's going to result in him talking more on his own. So I'm happy he's doing great, being more assertive and showing more personality and just making his own decisions. So I see the progress. I'm extremely proud of my baby boy, and I'm ready for the future for him.
Yeah, man, I think that's definitely a part of our circle, right? As to progression and evolving milestones daily. I think that's a part of this ride we on, right? And I think that it makes it that much more exhilarating. So, you asked me a question, how I'm doing, bro. I'm amazing. I'm blessed. A lot of people don't know, my story, but I look at it from where we were 5 months ago to where we are today. Like, no, I just don't know. You know, how bad it was last year, but you see me now.
Yeah,
I can't stop smiling, bro. To get back in the studio and just really get back to it, man. The feedback, the people I've met within the last 5 months has been absolutely dope, man. Just people asking, hey, when y'all coming back? When y'all doing this? And I think for us, timing is everything, right? And I look at it like that to where we are today and where we were 5 months ago. It's a testament, bro. We steady winning in life. Like you said, life has been life, but it's been a good life. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the most humbling way to really express that. But my week has been kind of like a roller coaster, bro.
Mhm.
Sir about to be 7, and
And
we're just looking
time's
at
flying.
a lot of different options, bro. A lot of different options as to what are the next steps. He's still in the ABA. Sir is thriving, bro. He said, "Happy New Year, January 1st, 2026." So you talk about conversation. You talk about words. You talk about just how Major's evolving. Like, man, I'm so proud of my son. And the way he did it, it was just like I've been knowing how to do this. Like, bro,
Yeah.
how out of nowhere you popped up 3 hours past your bedtime, but you up, and all of a sudden you want to say Happy New Year. I was shocked, bro. Like, it caught me off guard. Like, I'm trying to pop a bottle, to celebrate the New Year and all that stuff, man. And it just literally, like, did he just, like, oh my God. But everybody was killing me when he posted me, like, bro, Pops ain't crying, Pops ain't doing it. Hey, listen, man, we do that every year. We send it to family. Just say Happy New Year. It's just a regular day.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, man, it just made me think, like, 2026 is gonna be a beautiful year, man. And from that, we just been pushing him every day to say more words, be more vocal. He has his iPad now to where he can request. He's still doing sign language, still doing certain things that he was doing before. But I think now we're starting to see the results over the past 3 years have been amazing. But transitioning into 7, we got to think about school.
Yeah.
And I went to the school last week, bro, that my daughter goes to. And, she had like an e-picnic, went to lunch with her. And I said, let me stop by, talk to some people up front, talk to the counselor. They got a new autism program, which is so cool. They got 2 different, programs, one for nonverbal, one for kind of more so behavior. We kind of talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Sir's IEP, I guess, expired last year. They're like, we have to retest him. And I'm like, that's fine. Not the same kid he was 3 years ago. Let's do it. What's the process? All these things, you just register them normal. But it was the feedback. It was the comments, that really kind of turned me off to the point to where they asked me, like, what's his behaviors like? Is he self-harming? I said, no, he's not. I try not to say things personal, but you know how it is. It's like people ask you about your kid and it's like, you don't want to get in defense mode. But
yeah,
it made me feel some type of way. I handle myself accordingly, but it turned me off because I don't want to put my son in a situation where he regresses, right? Because he's not getting the fundamentals or the foundation that he needs. And so I pose a question to you. I'm in Texas. You're in Florida. What's your situation like with Major as far as, I know Major's a little bit younger than Sir, but at the end of the day, like, how are you transitioning and how are you going through that process?
Well, right now we have him in sort of a private school setting. So they allow for things to happen that most public schools wouldn't. For example, he has an RBT that's with him 5 days a week, and she's there to assist him when he's at school, because most times in classrooms, they're about like 10 or 12 kids or maybe more. And one teacher, some schools, they may have an assistant. But a lot of times with Major, like, he's real chill, he's real cool, he flies below under the radar. So a lot of times he gets looked over. So the RBT is there to help him along with keeping track of the curriculum and helping him along, being able to understand words and, just work with him. And, that's been a good thing to be able to have. But he's in pre-K right now. Kindergarten's coming up next year. We were kind of, the wife and I, we were kind of, scared, like, what's going to happen next, because the school didn't know if they were going to expand to kindergarten. So the only thing that we thought about, as an option would either be to homeschool, which would take one of us out of working, or to, put it in public school, well, put in private school, which private school is expensive. Public school for us right now is not even an option. It's not enough care for children like ours to be in that system. There's too many people who are unaware of how to deal with kids who are on a spectrum, let alone having the patience and understanding. So, you know, thankfully, you know, I feel like everything happens for a reason. The school decided to go ahead and expand to kindergarten, so they gave us another year of cushion to figure out, you know, what type of education Major will be getting, and if he would be in a place that we feel is safe for him, and where he can still be able to thrive and, you know, be productive. So that's where we're at right now. Just got to figure out what the year after kindergarten is going to look like.
And that's where we're at right now. You know, Sir turns 7 in 2 weeks. So technically he should be in first grade. And, you know, from an identification standpoint, Sir knows his numbers, you know, letters, he can identify, like all those things. Kids smart as hell. Like, we're not worried about that. Mm-hmm. But like you said, we're looking at options, right? Homeschooling, you know, thank God, you know, my wife, you know, runs a business, so she can, you know, be there if we need to get, you know, maybe a teacher, a tutor or something like that to come to the house, and then still try to keep him in ABA, you know, maybe 3 days a week. Or, you know, we looked into, you know, the private school route as to, I don't know if Texas allows it, you know, Florida's different, as we know, but they seem to be more progressive when it comes to special needs. And that's what we're kind of looking at, is like, he kicked him out.
He's got to come back in.
Okay.
Should just keep going, just talk about
So we just gonna keep trying to, you know, figure out what's best for him as to, let's say you gotta let him in.
Nigga, let him in.
All right. So it's, we just trying to figure out what's best, man, because I think, you know, at this point, if school is not the right thing for him straight out the gate, I'm good with, you know, homeschooling for, you know, the next 3-4 years, and then he can go to middle school, or, you know, even if we take it past to high school. But the things that I've been seeing, bro, like I went to a conference a few weeks ago in Nashville, and it was a superintendent conference through my job. And it just so happened that, you know, I'm there, you know, amongst all these superintendents across the country. And the conversation, it was great. The things that I saw, you know, but the consensus is that the things that we're hearing and we're seeing about education is real, bro. Like, they are really defunding these schools, between school closings, between not having enough money to allocate for different resources. You know, it's kind of disheartening, bro.
It is.
And I don't know. You know, I'd love to get your thoughts on that, because, like I said, with us, you know, being fathers and parents and caregivers of our children, is like, where is the hope? You know, to me, I feel like I'm not going to give up, obviously, but I think just really understanding the perspective as to what it is we're dealing with in real time is not good.
Yeah. No, it's not. And hopefully once this administration is over, things will slowly over time get better, and someone will want to re-implement.
We still got 3 years left. Like, that's, you know, bro.
So the thing,
like,
thing is,
we gotta worry. Like, our kids gonna be 9.
Well, I mean, in the reality of things, what else can you do but wait, unless something miraculously happened and a new administration has to be implemented immediately? So are we gonna keep harping over the issue, or are we gonna try to be productive and look for answers that we can, you know, implement ourselves, or changes that we can implement? So I feel like the answer is within the community. If the government is going to be taking away education and its resources and funding, what other choice do you have but to lean on each other and try to figure out some type of community that you can build together, programs that you can put together yourself? Because this country isn't it's overseen by the government, but this country doesn't run without a people. You get what I'm
Oh, of
saying?
course.
So what's going on with the education, things don't stop just because the government said, hey, we're gonna defund the educational system, or we're gonna pull resources. All right, that's what's gonna happen with that. But there are more than enough people within the community, within this country, that have the education, that have the skills, that have their own resources for us to be able to continue to thrive. It's just a matter of us pulling together and figuring out what's the best choice that we have until things change, or we just become the change ourselves.
And I think you hit it right there on the head, right? As to, it's always tunnel vision with us. You know what I mean? Like, because I think we have to look at it and say, you know, hey, are we just gonna fold just because of what's going on around us, or we gonna continue to press on and do what we gotta do? And I think that's the message, really, as a community, that we need to figure it out. You know, that's why I think, you know, having these conversations and kind of doing trial and error, right, is really talking to different people, because everybody's situation is different. So when I look at it, it's like, okay, that's why we got everything on the table. It's like, okay, let's find out what's going on in school. Is it going to make sense for him to go to school? Okay, let's look at homeschool. Okay, well, I got a buddy who sent me some information about a tutor that comes to his house. He does it for his son. And his son comes to school, and he's like 8, you know, probably going on closer to 9 this year. And, you know, he can read, write, you know, all those things. And that's the route that they're going. So it's like, okay, that looks like a good route. And then you got the private school, and it's like, it's expensive, right? It's not cost effective for everybody. So there are people out here that are literally doing the same things that we're doing, sitting here talking about this. And it's like, they're trying to figure out what's going to work best. Do they have the resources available to them to be able to trial and error and cancel out which option is going to be best? And I think that's something that, you know, personally, I'm thankful, you know, for having people like you, people like Mario, that, you know, I get to talk to, you know, on a daily basis to really, you know, decipher and make the best decision while all this other stuff is going on with the education system. It's like, okay, in the meantime, I see what you're saying. That could get us to the point to where, you know, Sir William's going to be successful in the educational space if we go this route versus putting him into a school. And this has always been a dream of mine, is like, I want my kids to be in the same school. You know, like I got 2 kids, so why would I not want them to be in school together? They're literally a year and a half apart. But everything that you want, you can't always get. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the part mentally that I have to really kind of understand and say, hey, okay, you know, it may not work the way that you want it. So we got to pivot. We got to do what's best for Sir William. We got to do what's best for Major. What that looks like is a roadmap to success. So I think these conversations are definitely needed, you know, because you really got to go back and forth. You know, it's kind of like a debate, right? As to, hey, you know, does this make sense? You're going through the same thing I'm going through. What it is that you're doing. Okay. Come together and figure it out. And I think that's the conversation piece where this is a really a torch to really light that and say, hey, as an autism community, you know, how do we come together and have these conversations? How do we do these things amongst each other, whether it be through comments, whether it be through, you know, DMs? Like, we don't have to know each other. Like, I think that's the beauty of community.
No, definitely. I think the word that you're saying, community, is something that we need to bring back, because The community has been divided. Everyone thinks they have to do everything by themselves, but that's something that we truly need to bring back is community, but also the unity amongst each other and to be able to lean on each other. So, for example, Sir is 2 years older than Major. Major is turning 5 this year. Sir is turning 7. So you and Sir, you and your family and Sir are 2 years ahead of where we are. So the experiences that you have, the resources that you've gained, and the milestones that you've gotten to is something that I can reach out to you to get because you are where we're heading. So us being able to create that community where we have people who are just now starting out, who are in the dark about a lot of things and, are uncertain or, they're looking for answers. People who have kids who are on the spectrum, who are years ahead of them are the ones that's going to be able to reach back and help them. You know what I'm saying? So us being able to create this resource, this community for everyone that's out there who may need the help or don't even know they need the help and the guidance, we're here to service that.
So what we're trying to do is really trying to build that community of fathers that can really have these conversations, open conversations. So what we're going to do is probably start doing like a Q&A type session. We'll post it on our socials. You guys tap in, man. And, if there's any questions or any concerns that you guys may have, I think for us, it's really all about, feedback and being able to kind of bounce ideas off each other because we all trying to adapt in this world. So I think that's the most important thing right now is how do we connect with everybody? And I think that's how we do it. So at the end of the day, what works in Texas may not work in California. What works in California may not work in Florida. So at the end of the day, we want to be able to connect the dots and bounce ideas off of each other to really kind of get an idea as to how we can come up and how we can do this thing together. So y'all stay tapped in with us when it comes to that. We're probably looking to do something on the next episode to really kind of get the engagement from the community because we all out here doing something, that I think is we rolling the dice. We really rolling the dice on life right now because of what we dealing with politically. But at the end of the day, life still goes on. We got to do what we got to do. And with that being said, listen, I know y'all see A Tribe Called Dad. It's on my chest. It's on Shay's chest. Something we stand on. And this is a standard that I think from fatherhood we look at. And this young man, this man had reached out to us, while partnering, and we are brand ambassadors for A Tribe Called Dad. We are here pushing the message about fathers. So we're going to drop the links, put them in the podcast so you guys can check it out. If you use The Village 25, which is our code, you get 15% off your whole order. And spread the message, man. I mean, if it don't fit for you, cool. But at the end of the day, we're fathers, we're husbands, and we are the backbones for our families. Why not represent something that really kind of shows and it gives to the community as to who we are as men, not just, we're not just, providers, or we're literally out here making a difference. And I love that for us because it's so many of us that are out there right now over the past, few years that are coming out and they're speaking out. And I think what better way to represent than to rock something you value, bro. Like rock something that you stand for. And that's why we did this partnership, because we feel like it's needed. Y'all need it. We need it. At the end of the day, it's a tribe called Village, a tribe called Dads, plus the Village. So tap in with us. Tap in with bro. He's doing some positive things within our community of dads. So y'all check it out.